36.
35.
34.
33.
32.
31.
30.
29.
28.
27.
26.
25.
24.
23.
22.
21.
20.
19.
18.
17. 16.
15.
14.
13.
12.
11.
10.
9. 8.
7.
6.
5.
4.
3.5.
3.
2.
1.
Hey, Rocky, you want to see me pull a show out of my hat? Nothing up my sleeve. Presto!
Hi, and welcome to the Mouthwash Talk Show, a minty, fresh take on politics. And wow, this is episode 163. And I'm like, wow, that's like 3+ years. I mean, 52 weeks in a year and all that, blah, blah, blah. That's a lot of shows. We're still here. And it seems like we're growing by the day. We like to say we're the fastest growing show on the internet. But, the way things went last week, the Facebook shut down, and we had all these issues with different things, and AT&T having problems, and so you just never know. It might be our last show. You just don't know these days with all the uncertainty with our tech that's going on. Which leads me to my fun day of. So we have Libby Glass on for Lucy because Lucy this afternoon decided she was going to get sick, but she has like a couple kids sick, so she's like, "Hey, I can't make it." So Libby Glass, she's brave to stand up, and she's actually running for the Indiana House here, District 98. So I'm glad that she was able to do that. And her brother Dan was able to set her up with the camera. So it's almost the same as Lucy and Dorn, but we have the brother and sister combo here, which probably works. Never mind. I'm not going to make a joke about that. And then also the Say It Out Loud, Cassie Jackson show. Unfortunately, her dad passed away last Thursday when we were supposed to tape. So today we taped the show at about 2:30, and I was not able to get it uploaded and downloaded quick enough to get on there. So it will air at 10:30 after this show. I think that's a show you should watch. I think that's one you should try to watch because it's very interesting. Very interesting. We talk about our dads and that type of thing. So we shall see if that goes off without a hitch. And also we have this Friday where we have our first official show for the stock market neophytes. And it's been a crazy time for the stock market and uncertainty and inflation and all that. So you can tune in to talk. Me and Gary are going to break it down for you. Our unofficial stock market report. And we do have, how can I not mention Ed there? And I noticed Ed probably noticed that we left him on the countdown. We just had Brad do 3.5 because we just cannot forget Ed, who is a staple of this show. And he has stepped in tonight because Brad is out. I don't know what he's doing. He's probably reorganizing the Dewey Decimal System up at the Alexandria Monroe Library. I can say that. And then, we have a guest on tonight. He's Mike Felker. He's running for the U.S. House District 3, which is the old Jim Banks seat. And there's like 6 other people running in that deal. So he's brave enough to come on the Mouthwash show. And we can't see if we can't get him over the finish line. I've just briefly talked to him, and that's about it. So I'll be learning just as you are learning about this. And, who could forget we have our regular Tiffany on. She's going to be, giving her viewpoint from the Republican side. And it's going to be good. But I want to talk about one thing about people complaining, because I just did a lot of complaining about things that we were trying to do tonight. Oh, I forgot to tell you, Mark Small had to call me on the phone because his internet's down and had to record his small talk via his phone, upload it, download it, and get it going here. But we do have it. If I would have told you any of that, you'd have thought it was a flawless show. But that's some of the fun that we have trying to get shows together for you. We appreciate you watching. I appreciate the panel and the guests. Nobody gets paid. We do this for fun and excitement and all that. And you know what? The good news is we don't have to answer to any sponsors, so we can say what the heck we want. Now, some of these elected officials got to be careful because they may use our show against them. So, without any further things to talk about, I think I'm going to play. What are we going to play? I think I'm just going to bring the guest on. I think we're going to see because he had some technical difficulties. He was on his laptop, and then we had to switch him over to his phone because he had a really bad delay, and it's not going to be good. So let's cross our fingers and hope the tech works. Because I'm going to bring him on right now. All right, are you there, Mike?
Yeah, let's see how that goes.
Oh my gosh, you saved the day. The whole day has been just like this. Last minute, just by the hanging on by a thread, but it looks great. You look great there. So, Mike, you sent me a message and say, hey, I want to be on the Mouthwash show. You're a brave soul, and you're up there in the Fort Wayne area. Is that correct? Is that where you live?
Well, I'm up in Warsaw, up in Kaskaskia County, where I work. So, but yeah, part of the district. Warsaw is actually not, believe it or not, I don't technically live in the district anymore. I got bumped out like everybody else did in Warsaw when they redistricted everybody in 21. So we were all threes here in Warsaw, and now we're two. So some people kind of lose sleep over it, but they got to read the Constitution first.
Yeah, well, that's everybody will pick on you for something, right? If they love you, they let a lot of stuff go, and if they don't, then they pick on what color underwear you're wearing. So it's one of those deals. So hey, Mike, tell our viewers a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so I'm running on the blue collar ticket, right? Banks, once he jumped in and slid over to the Senate race, I didn't even think twice, man. I jumped right in, both feet. It was scary as heck to do it, but I was the first guy to jump in the race. Well, reason why I'm running, basically, which is the $1 million question everybody wants to know, is because the pros are not getting the job done. I've been watching them for 25 years, hoping that they're going to do the right thing for the American people. Things are going to start turning in the right direction, and sadly, we just keep going backwards. And I think I can do a better job than what we've got right now.
So what is your background? What's your profession? What have you been doing and up there in the Warsaw area?
So I grew up out in the middle of nowhere, kind of a farming area, but I knew I wanted to join the military young. When I hit 17 years of age, your parents can kind of sign for you to join the military. So I joined the Indiana Army National Guard, and I did that for just over 20 years. Back in 2003 when the war kicked off in Iraq, I served with the 1st and the 293rd out of Fort Wayne. Those guys, and we did a year over there, essentially, that infantry the whole time. And then, we geared back up and went back and for another year in 2008. We had a convoy security job, so that was pretty nice. Got a Bronze Star for my service over there for being a convoy commander over there. Went pretty good. And then I retired from the National Guard when I was a first sergeant in 2017. I had to get out because the way things were going with the military. But for the last basically 18 years, I've been working as a maintenance tech over here in Kaskaskia County. I work on CNC machines, all sorts of stuff, over for a company called Zimmer Biomet. So I've been doing that, turning wrenches for almost 18 years. And guns and politics are pretty much my culture, I would say.
So you could work on that machine out in Washington. That's a daunting task, going out there with 435 of your closest friends, or 34 because you're one of them, trying to get things done. Well, that's pretty good. Now, I'm going to ask you a question, and then this is going to be a segue into bringing the panel on here. Has anybody done any polling up there? And what do you think about polling? And have they done any polling? Have you seen a poll about that's got Mike Felker? He's like 75%, or Mike Felker, he's got like a couple percent. So is there any polls out there that you've seen?
I have not seen any. I've heard from a couple of people that they've gotten some things in the mail saying basically all the candidates, especially the one, I think it's all Republican side. There's total, there's 8 of us now that are running for this seat. But I think there's been a couple of mailers out there talking about, what do you think of Mike Felker or whoever, Stutzman or whoever's running, or, what's your favorable opinion of them? But I haven't really seen anything officially as far as polling's concerned, and I wish I could afford it, but I can't.
Yeah. So I'll ask your opinion. What do you think about polling? I mean, do you think it's like, the gospel, or do you think it's sometimes people mess around with it?
Well, I think it's for here in Indiana, I'd say it's pretty solid, kind of. I know I'm saying it is, but it isn't. But it's, I don't know. Sadly, it's competing pools of money, John. That's what I believe. And so that's what my whole campaign is. I'm trying to get people to understand that, look, it's not about competing pools of money. It's about picking the right candidate for the job. This is an interview, basically for this position, and people need to look at what kind of candidate you're getting, because I'm trying to give the public, I'm trying to give the district a way, an opportunity to elect somebody who's going to get us away from the government that we're trying to get away from right now.
Yeah, the government seems to not be real. A lot of people are in that category tonight. So, well, Mark Small's got some opinions about polling, so we're going to go ahead and play that, and then other people are going to get asked you questions on the panel here. So let's see what Mark Small has to say. This is via his cell phone to my StreamYard, back to editing, and then here's what came out.
Hi, I'm Mark Small. This is Small Talk. Let's talk about polling. Think about how people's reactions are when they see a poll. So many people are like following if somebody's up so many points or down so many points. Here's the problem. We have a change in technology of polling. When I became a political science major in college, I thought we'd be discussing like theorists and philosophers, the Middle Ages. Instead, we were talking about stats and theory on stats and how to get the right sample numbers. Then we had a change from landlines, because if you look at the past, people had landlines and you'd call them on the phone. Now that's gone, but what hasn't gone is a reliance upon people answering honestly. How many people answer cynically, going, yeah, sure, I back so-and-so, or just saying things that aren't accurate at all? One basis of having a valid statistical theory or result is that you have people saying the truth and an accurate sample. It was like 900 people you sample. That should give you an overall demographic accurate view of the voters. That's not true anymore. What's even more true is that people say things that are false because they're cynical. That's something that people should be aware of, not just when you sit there and hear the results of polls, but also when people call you and ask you for your opinion on a poll. It's easy to say, oh, screw off. It's easier to have fun, but the most difficult thing of all is to realize that's part of civil discourse, and it's really important to sell the truth. Sell it and say it. Mark Small. Small Talk. Take care.
So there you go. Let's get the people in the right places here. You're going in the middle.
Good.
Hey, what happened there? Okay, there we go.
I see.
Like Hollywood Squares on steroids there. So look at this. So half the gang's all back, and we got Libby Glass new. Now, Libby, you were on the show, but you've never been on the panel, so this is
That's true.
first time for that. So okay, you gotta work in taxation is theft and burn down the Fed.
And green rectangles.
That's true.
And green rectangles. So that is your thing. And Ed's got to work in Lowe's and Spirit Airlines. Oh, by the way, my conspiracy theory has Ed involved in it. So I just conjured up this, just for you, Ed, just for you. Tiffany, I don't have anything for you today. I'm sorry. Maybe next time. I don't have any Bigfoot sightings that you could come figure out or anything. So we're good there. So how's everybody doing tonight? We'll start with Tiffany.
Okay, you have nothing for me, but you start with me. Let's see.
Well, that's what I got for you.
I know. Hey, everything's doing really good. We had a groundbreaking today for the new community center here in Fishers. So that was really fun and entertaining. We had some first graders participate. There's a big there's an HOA Alliance meeting tomorrow in Fishers. So if you're an HOA president, please plan to attend. And we are hosting, John DeLucia is hosting a book review. He's got an author coming to town, and she's talking about the importance of civility, being able to talk to people. It will be at 6:00 tomorrow at the Knowledge Services Building. Inbox me if you're interested.
Wow,
Yay.
there's a lot going on up there. We have a ground fixing program down here in Mars Hill. It's already been broken a couple times. So Ed, it's good to see you, brother.
It is great to be seen. I'm having a great day, by the way. The guy
Are you sitting upright? Are you sitting upright?
I am. I'm having my phone is in an awkward position.
Okay. Look, you're like slow jamming it. You're like, yeah.
Yeah,
He's broadcasting
comfortable.
from the moon. Yeah, the moon is the galaxies in the background with no stars in it. So
Yes.
so Libby Glass, welcome to the panel.
Oh, thank
Filling in for
you.
Lucy, big shoes, big shoes.
Well, those are very big shoes because she's cool. I like her a lot.
Yeah, she's. I'm headed to her house if the apocalypse comes, which it seems every day. By the way, people talk. If you pay attention online and Twitter and whatnot, it ends. World's ending soon.
Yeah, that's this consensus online for sure.
Yep. So we got Mike Felker here. He's up there finding out up in the northeast of Indiana. That's pretty much District 3, and not all the way up to the state line, but it goes up quite a ways, right?
Yeah, it's all the way up to Michigan and all the way over to Ohio.
Wow.
Oh, you got those
We got
Buckeyes.
13 counties in this district. It's big.
Wow.
So I have. I'm going to start with a question from our audience member here. It's like, is Mike Felker pro Jim Banks? That's a fair question. I mean, you're going for his seat.
Oh, I'm not. Oh, that's a toughie, guys. I'm on the fence with Banks sometimes. He's kind of like everybody else at times. Sometimes he does the right things, but here lately he's been doing good. Thank God he's not Todd Young. I'll tell you that much. Yeah, Banks is good. He's got a pretty decent constitutional scorecard. He's not as high as he should be, but I'm going to support him in the Senate. Let's say
If we
that.
legalized marijuana, he'd be a little higher, I guess.
Probably.
So, anyway, hey Libby, speaking of libertarian, legalize everything. I mean, what kind of question might you have for Mike?
Well, I'm not going that way. First of all,
I have been asked that.
First of all, I'd like to thank you for your service. Before I discovered that both the establishment parties aren't what they say they are, and became a libertarian, I donated to Dan Crenshaw's campaign. He was saying some of the same things you do on your website, paying down the debt and smaller government. Then he voted to send billions overseas to fund the 2 new wars. How are you going to be different? We can support our people in the armed forces without supporting the death and destruction.
Yeah, that's kind of funny because I asked that same question essentially to Rudy Yackham, and because he's over here at District 2 as well, and his answer was hilarious because it's more of the same. That's why I try to tell people I'm different. I'm not going to give you a political answer because I'm not a politician, but we don't have to go in debt to have a strong military. And trust me, when I served in 2008, when I served our second deployment, boy, there was a ton of wasteful spending over there. I mean, it was everywhere, from contractors to, just spending on anything and everything that you could think of that you needed or wanted. You had it basically at your fingertips, which was kind of nice if you're, in a command position and you need all those goodies for your troops. But a lot of that stuff we just wasted. But you got to get somebody in there who's term limits. I'm a term limit candidate, so I promised to pledge 6 years and I'm out. Not that it's guaranteed, because I don't want to be part of the corruption, part of the system. So I'm getting in and hopefully get the direction of the district turned around, getting people back involved, accountability again. We don't do that. We haven't done that since Ronald Reagan was president. And so I'm going to actually be home more than I'm gone, which is something that never happens anymore. So we can start getting accountability and get a ground game going on in our district and figure a way to figure out how to take care of some of this debt and get the power back in the hands of the people again.
So, okay, well, Tiffany, you've got Tiffany's question raiser up there.
Yeah, I have a couple of questions. I know Mark Small was talking about polls, but I am interested to know how all 8 of the candidates are stacking up. Like, are you um, are you the top candidate for the job? That's number one. And then number two, when you're elected to Congress, the other folks, they become your peer group. So how do you come in as an outsider? You're probably going to be on the lowest committees. How are you going to affect change in one term in a cesspool?
Well, nobody. This is how I see it. Nobody goes in there wanting to destroy the country. I mean, we all end up getting that. They end up getting that way, down the road. But so I want to work with. Like, I could care less, what party you're affiliated with when I get in there. As a freshman member of Congress, you obviously don't have a lot of authority. You're not going to be able to. I'm not going to be able to walk up to Mike Johnson and tell him, "Hey, look, man, we need to balance the budget." He's just going to kick me to the back of the line. And I mean, obviously that's not how it works anyways. You got a class president and you got to go. I mean, it's a liaison. I mean, it's silly, but so you got to make relationships with the freshman members of Congress. I mean, obviously maybe you get lucky. You can get some good ones in there. I like guys like Bob Good. I do. I'm a Freedom Caucus guy. I love the Freedom Caucus members, most of them. Thomas Massey, Chip Roy. Those are the top ones that I kind of look up to. So hopefully, they can pull me in. I can pull them in, but we got to get relationships with the freshman members of Congress. Have relationships with them. Have lunch, breakfast, whatever, once a month, a couple times a month, whatever. And as long as we're following the Constitution, maybe we can actually get some stuff done. And then hopefully some of them older members will go away, like they are right now. And maybe we can start doing some change. But it's got to come from the people. Congress ain't going to fix it. If they were going to fix our problems, they'd have done it 25, 30 years ago. And that's why I'm doing this, because, every day we wake up and we flip the news on, and it's worse. It's never better. And it's consistently getting that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Hey,
Ed,
how's he polling? How's he polling?
Oh, so yeah, how you got me? I'm probably on the low end. I'm not well connected. I don't have a lot of money. So I mean, I can tell you with the Republican Party how it is, and I've listened to some of your shows in the past, so you guys kind of understand how things work. I'm not the top tier candidate because I'm not the one giving money to donating it to the Republican Party locally. And, I'm a working class guy. I'm not the white collar guy with all the money and the name recognition. So I'm going to say I'm down in the bottom, but I'm trying to get the majority vote, which is the working class people. If we could just get them to show up to the primary.
If you don't have money, are you planning to outwork everyone?
Well, I'm trying to. It's tough because I work for a living, right? So I'm doing I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning every day, and I'm going to work, and I get off at about 2, 3 o'clock every day. You typically pick up my kids, and then I'm usually hitting the road, knocking on doors, whatever, doing events. Lincoln days are kicking back on, pretty heavy and strong now with the party. So I'm trying to get with those, but those aren't where the votes for me are. The votes for me are the ones that I got to be out there. I was out there stomping Fort Wayne the other day, holding up signs, doing what they did 30, 40 years ago when money wasn't a big thing, trying to get people's to see who I am and what I'm about, and maybe even get out there and vote, because a lot of guys don't. For some odd reason, we don't have people that vote in the primary.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's with this new 2 primary rule, I think it's gotten people's attention as far as voting in primaries. It's important. So maybe we'll make it, instead of 20% of the people vote, maybe we'll get like 21% of the people voting. It's really going to be a big thing there. So Ed, I know you always have some question that we haven't thought of.
Well, I'm going to go back to Mark Small. Mark Small talked a little bit about about civility and being on the only Democrat here. I know you're in the primary now, and this may be a poison question for you considering you're going in the primary. As a Democrat, can you speak to me about where we would connect? Why would I support you?
Ooh.
Ooh, it's I
Well,
told you.
because I don't care who you are or what your party affiliation is. See, that's what drives me nuts. You know, how did we get trickled down to our level, to the people's level? I mean, I get it that, Congress hates each other, or at least they pretend they do. But I see it here at our level. And so I'm one of those guys who are going to reach out and try to figure out, hey, look, man, the debt is out of control, let's say, or the border, and that's not doing anything for you, Democrat. That's not doing anything for me, Republican. And why can't we work together? And because I'm going to do town halls every quarter, and I better have some Democrat butts in the seats when I do these town halls, because they're, they're part of the process too. I mean, everybody is. And so, yeah, you just have to work with people. You have to reach out there across lines. That's just how I am. I mean, it's the same thing in the military. I mean, you have all kinds of walks of life and in the military. And man, I tell you what, those are your brothers, and regardless of anything. And that's just how I think.
Yeah, when the bullets start flying, what they say, there's no atheist in a foxhole, and
that's right.
So maybe we should no, never mind. I'm not going to say maybe we should break out the bullets for the Congress, but
whoa,
yeah, that's
a violation of the
So I'm not going to say that. I was not going to say that. So, Libby, you think that's sort of funny, don't you? So, Libby, from the libertarian perspective, what? I guess I'm going to ask you a question. We see this infighting, and Mike, not to take anything away from what you said, but I think we hear a lot of people say, I want to work across the aisle, but when they get there, it's like nothing. I mean, it just seems like they just dig in their heels, and so tells you how you need to vote, or you'll be off of this committee, or the strong arms and all that. In the Libertarian Party, it doesn't seem to be that way. It seems to be all are welcome. And but I don't know, maybe do you have those sort of things in the background noise, I call it? Do you have the background noise in your party compared to what the pressure you might get from a Democrat or Republican?
Me?
As far as what to do. Yeah, I'm asking you that question.
Oh, well, you guys on the right and left, you keep fighting, because you're going to just send them to our way over here, because we're the best of both parties, in my opinion. We're socially liberal and fiscally conservative, and that is the way it should be, in my opinion.
So I'm going to ask a question of Mike. We're talking about social issues, and we talk about fiscal issues. We talk about conservative issues, and that. Do you think that the Republican Party may be out of their league with social issues, or it seems like the Democrats own these social issues, the abortion and the LGBTQ and all those things. And it just seems like a conservative, especially a conservative Republican, just sort of stumbles and bumbles around those things and really doesn't have, I guess, answers, or feel comfortable or feel confident in their talking points. It's so is that something you see? Could you tell us how what's your feelings about the social issues and the actual business? Seems like the Republicans are good at the business, but not so much at social issues. What's your take on that?
Well, yeah, I'm just all about the Constitution. Okay, so I'll give you a quick example. So back in May, when nobody really knew me, I was doing a Lincoln Day here in Kosciuszko County, and one of the things that drove me nuts about the Republican Party is with everything, the problems that we have, and they had enough time to pass. And of course, it didn't go through the Senate, but keeping men out of women's sports, right? They passed that, and I'm like, what in the world are we doing? Digging our heels into. I mean, look, we don't need. We don't need the government to tell us what's right and what's wrong. I mean, Ronald Reagan said it perfectly. The government is not the solution to our problems. The government is the problem. And so people were perplexed that I said, like, where is it in the Constitution that the Republican Party or the federal government has control over the NCAA's, their rules and all that? And I'm like, let the American people handle that. Let the women handle that. I mean, I don't need anybody to tell me that a guy playing in a woman's basketball game or going in a woman's locker room is wrong. And they were surprised that I came out and said that. And we got other issues. We got other problems.
Yeah. So, a bigger issue of the social thing would be the abortion issue. And, there's two fields, there's two ways of thinking about this. It's like, do we give freedom to the people to make their own choices? Or, is this pro-life at all costs? So where do you fall on that spectrum of hey, abortion, unlimited abortion, or, total abortion ban? Where are you on that spectrum?
That's a state's right. That's a state's right. I wouldn't.
Oh, you're going to bail him out? Live it on this one?
Well, look, you can't see it, but my Declaration of Independence is sitting on my wall right there. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That should be your answer right there. Life it's all part of our culture. It's in our Declaration of Independence, so we've got to protect life at all costs.
There you go. That's Libby. Was that okay? That a good answer. Tiffany, got a question.
I'm still enjoying that answer. That was really good.
Well, you've enjoyed it now. What's your question?
I'm going to defer to Ed right now.
Okay.
Oh, hold on. There was a question in there. So,
okay, hold on.
Did we get all of them?
I don't know. Probably not.
I have another one if you.
Okay. Well, go ahead, Libby.
Yeah, send it.
But she didn't get. I took your question and asked you about it, and it was not that good. So do better for me.
Okay. So one of the LP's presidential candidates is talking about an opt-out for Social Security. The majority of the nation's debt is due to entitlements. How would you address this issue?
Yeah, why do people keep calling Social Security an entitlement? I don't get it. A lot of people don't understand that. I put money. Okay, I have a job. The government has no government is not putting money in account for Mike Felker or anybody who has a job. My company puts money in. I put money in. That money should be in there all day, every day. When I retire, that money better be in there. But it's not going to be. I mean, at least, what is it, 20? Was it 20? I'm going to say, I think Medicare is 2030. It's supposed to have a shortfall, and 33 for Social Security. More going out than coming in. I hate that word entitlement. It's not an entitlement. It's a retirement plan or supplemental retirement plan. I mean, it was a 30-page bill that was passed. I forget in the 30s or something. And and so we gotta get away from people calling. I heard Trump call it an entitlement yesterday, and it ticked me off because I'm like, get it right, man. It's taxes that I put in that you forced me to pay, and everybody who else works out there, and the corporations are putting in. The government's not putting any of it. It's our money. So yeah, sorry, I get a little frustrated at that.
I agree with that 100% because I'm getting I'm getting the mail right now because I'm past 62, and I'm like, man, should I take this deal now or should I wait a couple years? Yeah. So, but I don't know. It's an entitlement. I mean, no, it's not. It's my money. I want it back.
It is.
It's a repayment on the loan you gave the government.
Yeah, I don't even understand it because it's the number one budgeted item in the Congress. I'm like, how is it?
Yeah,
it doesn't make any sense. It's our money.
That every year, that's the first thing we're going to kick out of the budget. Every year.
Well,
it's the first
thing is
Social Security.
The money I paid in 1970s when I was making $2.25 an hour and was rich. There's no way that money was would match today's inflation. I mean,
right? Yeah.
They invested at 8%. Could you imagine? Because wow.
If I just would have bought like 10 Lilly stocks, I'd be in good shape. Just let it ride. But that's why we got this thing. So because we're not smart enough to invest our money. A lot of people.
I like. Remember when Bush Jr. was talking about opting out and investing it in the stock market? Man, I tell you what, it's my money anyway. It's the people's money. They should be able to do with it whatever they choose. I'm sorry that. I mean, I don't know why they did what they did. I remember my uncle. He died about 15 years ago. But I remember him telling me he paid into Social Security for about 12 years or something, and he got it for well over 40. And I remember him telling me it was a good investment, right? And I'm like, I don't know why they should have made it to the people who got the money that put in, and then you got what you put in and got back what you put in, not each generation paying for the next. I don't know. That's just me.
Yeah,
We're
I know a
beyond
lot
those
of
days.
yeah, I know a lot of these millennials and Gen Zs that they ain't gonna take care of me. Just put him out
Right.
by the curb.
Yeah.
He's okay.
I resemble
So,
that remark.
oh yeah, get to work. You should be working right now to pay for my retirement. I mean, I'm my luxury retirement here at Mars Hill.
Oh
It's
yeah.
just so good. So, Libby, you got another question? Maybe
No, I'm good.
you're good. How about you, Ed?
Hey, well, so first of all, I missed it the first time. I wanted to say welcome, neighbor. It is awesome to have somebody on the show who's actually from northern Indiana. So appreciate that. Second thing is you've watched the show before, you know how it works. I just got to ask, have you had any resistance, met any resistance? I think you kind of addressed you're not getting a ton of help, but have you had any resistance from the party?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, they're trying to be fair to a point. But you can tell who's the favorite and who's not. I mean, I get that. I knew that's how it was going to be when I got in here. That's why I jumped in before anybody else did. I had to figure this out and try to hit the ground running. I don't have. It's all about money again. I don't want to be rude, but for some odd reason, there's this perception out there that money gives you some kind of quality candidate. And I'm like, man, there's like 430. We don't have George Santos in there, so we got 434, members of Congress right now that have got millions of dollars in their campaign coffers, and 90% of them are crap. And so I'm like, money doesn't give you a good candidate. That's why I says all these.
Who can send a lot of mail or do commercials.
Yeah.
And bombard their name so that they end up voting for them.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's what
it does. Money allows you to have a strong defense.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. That's why.
Strong offense.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it is about getting your message out. Hold on, Libby. I got a question here from Donald Rainwater. He's running for the governor. I'm going to put it up here, and I don't even know what the ninth or 10th Amendment is. But apparently, if we would fight as hard for that one as we do the Second Amendment, the federal government wouldn't have authority to ruin our lives on a daily basis. So, I mean, does anybody know what the 9th and 10th Amendment is?
Oh, dear God, I should know this.
I don't know these things. So come on, libertarian, you're supposed to know these things. You know these things?
The 10th is all other things that it's basically states' rights is the 10th.
Yeah, the first 10 are the Bill of Rights, and yeah.
Okay, you guys do.
Hey, I voted for Rainwater too.
I don't know it word for word, but the 10th one is all other duties or to the states, basically.
Okay, well, here we go. I'm sure there's people Googling their little thumbs off right now. So the 9th Amendment to the United States Constitution addresses the rights retained by all people and that are not specifically enumerated in the Constitution. It is part of the Bill of Rights. So, so you're not just a guy on here just running for the heck of it. You know a little bit what's going on. I this Constitution thing, I probably should read it once in a while, but I'm so busy fighting our city, trying to get out of floodplains and this and that I don't have time for it. I don't have time for it. So, here's the 10th Amendment. It's a little long. 10th Amendment, it expresses the principle of federalism. So I don't know what that means either. So also known as states' rights. Okay, there you go, Libby. You're good. You're on that. By stating that the federal government only has those powers delegated to it by the Constitution, and that all other powers not forbidden to the states by the Constitution are reserved to each state or the people.
Yeah.
So you are a constitutionalist. Would that be fair to say? I mean, anybody that has one on their wall, it's got to know more about that. So, okay. So here's another. I don't know what does this mean. What is that?
No, we're not talking about that.
Okay, good. Libby knows what it is, and we're not talking about it. So, but go ahead, Tiffany.
Question: how do you compare to the other candidates, and why would people vote for you?
There you go.
Well. So there's two candidates who are blue collar guys, I would say, that are running. I'm pretty much the only one that I mean, not against them, but sometimes he didn't really campaign too much. So I'm out there trying to campaign, but I'm just trying again. Like I said at the intro, I'm trying to give us the government, get us away from the government that we're trying to get away from. And there's a lot of problems. I mean, everybody, what cracks me up is they go out there and they tell everybody that they're going to fix all of our problems, right? I mean, oh my gosh, I've heard it. I probably sit there and people will see me roll my eyes when they're up there doing their speeches. But I'm not going to fix anything. I'm going to get the people back to their constitutional responsibility, and because we have a ton. I mean, everybody. I think everybody has totally forgotten the influence that they have over government and our members of Congress. I mean, totally. I think everybody just hands it over to them and goes back to their business, whatever they're doing. They hit that button.
Necessarily just hand it over. We trust that because we know them as candidates, and we've seen their track record, and we've seen their employment record. We've seen what they've been able to accomplish both professionally and personally. And when you give somebody your vote, you're putting trust in them. So that's the thing. You vote for them, you trust them, you send them off to do their office based on what they've learned about the candidate. I mean, that's what they do. Yeah, we just don't turn our eyes. We've put trust in you to do your job.
You don't, but almost everybody else does. There's quite a few people out there. I mean, you know how many people I talk to who live in District 3 but don't realize they live in District. Oh, I live in this city, and I'm like, yeah, that's District 3, and I'm like, do you vote? And they're like, yep, I vote. And I'm like, okay, so how do you not know what district you live in? I mean, so a lot of people, I think, I always say this, and I always tell people don't take offense to it. I don't mean to be rude, but I think a lot of folks think that their constitutional responsibility begins and ends at the voting booth. Yep, I voted, and my guy got elected, and I'm going to go back to doing whatever it was I'm doing because they're going to do the right thing, and they never do. I mean, come on, it's been 25, 30 years, and
people only vote for president, so you're exactly right.
Yep, and that's our problem. That's where we gotta have somebody here at home who's actually gonna get people involved. I mean, I'm telling you what, I'm gonna be knocking on doors long after the election. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I love the plan to get everybody involved, but you've got to be part of some power structure or some entity that's already established. You said you've got 13 counties and you want to pull people together. I mean, like, what are you going to establish a network? Are you going to work through churches? Are you going to use your current GOP county chairs and your district chair? I mean,
precinct committeeman.
Your precinct committeeman?
Yes, that's where our power is going to come from. And then we've got I don't know if you guys ever heard of this. There's a thing called the John Burke Society. And they have this thing called the Power of 500. We gotta get a ground game because, again, I don't know. Listen to your viewers out there. I honestly believe this republic's got 10 good years if we're lucky to fix some of these problems before they sell us right off a cliff. I think everybody's kind of given up. There's a lot of people who haven't, but I think most people are wanting change, but they're just like, how do we do it? We need a leader. We need somebody to lead. There's nobody leading in this country. I mean, there is some guys, but I'm saying that there's District 3. My plan is, I know it might sound bullish or whatever, but we're going to lead the state. We're going to be like the epicenter of the state. We're going to be doing things like organizing our gun community, making sure that we have constitutional people in power, sheriff, Congress, senators, those people are going to be very robust and involved, and I'm going to be in the middle of it, trying to get them established, and we're just going to start doing things, and hopefully District 2, District 1 is going to be like, hey, do you guys see what's going on over in District 3? Man, we should be doing that over here, and that's what my plan is. I mean, when's the last time we had a town hall in any district in the state of Indiana? I don't know too many. I mean, we need to have them more often. You guys have them. We don't ever have them.
Arts does them at least 2 a year. I want to say almost 1 a quarter. All over the district too.
Oh, see, that's what I'm not seeing that very much, at least here in 3, 2, wherever, so that's something I want to do and I'm blue collar. If I have to get up at 2:00 to have a town hall with the off shift guys at GM or wherever, so they can participate and be part of the solution, that's what I'm going to do. My staff's going to hate me, but that's what we're going to do.
One of the things is that I think people, as far as having faith in the voting, in the elections, do you think that has something to do with people just saying, "Oh, it doesn't matter. It's just my vote doesn't matter." Do you think that's part of the issue?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, for some people there is, after the 2020 election, and I don't know. Did you guys see that Danish D'Souza movie?
The mules or whatever, the
200 mules or whatever. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how true all that was, but I mean, so I'm not look, Biden's the president, people are like, who's president? I'm like, well, Joe Biden, unfortunately. So who won the election? I'm like, well, so we're not even going there. We're beyond that day. We're focusing on 2025, 2024. But there's a lot of people out there like, oh yeah, I don't even vote anymore because my vote don't count. And I'm like, that's the problem.
And I think some of that comes from this, we had, John Rust on previously about, getting on the ballot, that crowded ballot for Jim Banks's seat, the one that has 2 people in it or 3 maybe. It's just super crowded. And your race has 8. So to me, the irony in that is something else. Now, you guys are all going to work hard. Or you look at our governors. We got 6 governor people trying to run. Man, they're out there working their tails off. I just don't see. Yeah, you got Donald Rainwater. He's out working. He's on our show in the comments. We don't have any other governor candidate in our comments here doing this. So I think it's going to come down to
the show more than anyone else, I'm sure.
I'm telling you what, I'm a Republican and I voted for Rainwater over Holcomb. Okay, that's how much I don't like the guy. So
well, there you go. Libby, just get a smile. What are you trying to be nice to Libby or first time on the thing? Or you just want her to vote for a Republican?
Libby's like one for me.
I vote for the right person, the best person for the job.
Unless it's a primary, then you got to vote in 2 primaries or you won't ever be able to run again in the party. So then and then we got Janet Dixon, she's a loyal viewer. I don't think she's missed a show. She's actually on the countdown, and that's how she does it. She does things like that. So but
can we get one more question in?
Oh, we got like plenty more questions. If you got 3, Libby, you're a guest on the show.
All right.
Go.
All right. So on your website, it says that you want to get together with your fellow politicians, although you don't want to be a politician, which I agree with. Are you planning on authoring any bills? The first one that I would do is to repeal the income tax. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, that would be great. I would love to. I want to do a balanced budget amendment, but this is another weird perception for me. Okay. We need to get rid of stuff. We don't need more legislation, in my opinion. I mean, there's some people out there that, again, I don't have anything wrong with Jim Banks, but a lot of people brag about how much legislation he's brought to the floor and, that's made it through committee, maybe not when it got voted on, but I'm like, that's not me. I'm like, we need to repeal stuff. We need more liberty and less tyranny, in my opinion. But I would love, a balanced budget amendment or income tax. I mean, why are we paying taxes anyways when they just keep peeling money off the feds,
Well, we should end the Fed too, but
exactly.
I got to pay 30% of my income this year to taxes, and that stinks because I had a good year, and I'm used to paying taxes, so this is going to be painful to have to write that check. But my father-in-law, I saw him write a big old check one time to the IRS. I said, "Man, doesn't that piss you off? You got to write that much money to them?" He goes, "No, that just means I'm making money." So I guess that's how you look at it. So. But I got to put this up here, Wayne Harmon. Now Wayne, he said he got booted off the countdown. He didn't really get booted off, but somehow I lost from 40 to 35. And I don't know where it is, but Wayne, I apologize. I'm going to get you back on the countdown if I can find that footage. So, I know it's, and it's a good one because he couldn't follow instructions. I told him to say 39. He wanted to be number one. He wanted to take over number one. I think he probably thinks I'm a little jealous of him and he wants to be number one and all that. But no, it was honestly a technical glitch in the editing program. So sorry about that. Started to get off base there. But how about, hey, Janet, she's getting on there twice. How about, now this isn't the federal government thing that, the property taxes is a local thing.
Yeah.
But how about people that are older? We're getting Social Security, but man, this inflation's a tax on us old folk.
You're supposed to eat cereal for dinner. You're supposed to eat cereal for dinner and you'll be fine.
Oh, I'm down to ramen noodles. What are you talking about? I feel like I get back to my cell anytime now soon.
You guys need to get a hold of Micah Beckwith. He's running for the lieutenant governor. It's kind of an odd thing to doing, but he's doing, and we were talking about that a couple days ago. He wants to repeal property taxes for seniors and veterans for the state of Indiana. And he's one of those guys who actually doesn't just talk out of both sides of his mouth. He's one of those guys who he's going to work hard, whoever the governor is, and providing he gets the delegate votes to be lieutenant governor. But he's going to probably be one of the best ones we've ever had.
Well, I've never seen something like this done, so I give him an A+ for originality and being creative on it.
Yeah.
But I think that I have a couple problems with property taxes. One, it's our property. We've already bought it. We shouldn't be. It's double taxation to me. And this is where Libby says taxation is theft. So go ahead, Libby.
I've done it 3 or 4 times, but yes, taxation is theft.
All right. Well,
it is.
I wanted to work it in my thing here. And the other thing is I improved my house. So when I bought this house in 20 whatever, my property taxes were low, and then I fixed it up a little bit. So since 2020, my property taxes have gone up 1,100%. Now, we have a 1, 2, 3. Yeah, well, they kept coming out and reassessing, and I'm being punished for improving my lot. So, Tiffany, I know you're laughing up there, but I know you're getting ready to put a patio on.
No. I'm thinking about your house. Like you have a 3-car garage.
Oh, yeah. I call it a castle here in Marshall.
I know. They don't even have to go inside. They can just drive by and see the improvement.
When I bought this place, it had a mop on
And
the
you're
roof.
on a double lot. Are you on 2 lots or 3? Yeah.
3 lots? Oh, yeah. You got to pay. You got to pay for your neighbors,
it's
too.
funny because it doesn't even look like really one lot. These lots are so little in Mars Hill. And it's what's really
Ooh.
there we go. Tiffany's going to be making fun. You're going to make fun of my makeup too that I don't have on. But the thing was, in 1910, these lots sold for $500. And like 3 or 4 years ago, a lot sold for $500 down the road because it's in the stinking floodplain. So anyway, this is not about that. Oh, but as a federal thing, you could do something about that. It's FEMA. I think you need to get rid of that damn FEMA. You get rid of FEMA, I'm voting for you.
Hey, I tell you what, this is what I always think, John. I'm weird. I went back in time and I'm like, who in the heck, what generation ever said that, I think, property tax would be a good thing. So I think it was like 1911 in Indiana when they implemented the property tax. And I'm like, what? Someone needs to go back in time and take that generation and shake them and be like, what were you thinking? Letting you guys should have been informed back then about what, they didn't have TV and all this lucrative stuff, cell phones now, they should have known what was going on and should have said, no, that's not what we want. But they did.
Yeah. Well, and then
now it's out of control.
If Lucy were here, she would remind you about 1913s when the Fed started and that, so it sounds like a bunch of
when
those
our currency was backed by gold and now it's backed by nothing. Your green
triangles or rectangles.
That's what it is.
1919 was when it was in Indiana.
Oh man. See, Libby's like our fact checker tonight.
I knew it was somewhere
on the show.
I knew it was somewhere in that time frame. But you think about it, like what generation said, hey, I think that's a good idea. I'll never own my property. I'll continue to pay taxes on it forever.
Well, and that's the same year they let women vote.
Oh,
you think there's a correlation there?
Maybe it probably was a woman's idea to do the property tax. because her husband didn't mow the grass or something. Hey, we're going to tax your,
Is
now.
that your conspiracy theory?
No, I just made all that right up. But we left England because of property and religion, of course, religion and property. Now they're both under attack. You can't pray in the schools, and then you got your property tax. It's like it's going to hell in a handbasket here. And Mike Felker, I think you're the guy that can fix it.
Let's keep that going. I hope so, because one thing that cracks me up, and I love the Republican Party, and I would love to sit here and complain. Nothing, no offense, Ed, about the Democrat, the socialists who are out there really not even caring about the Constitution and trying to destroy us. But I'm complaining because we're not even doing the right thing in the Republican Party. Did you guys watch the State of the Union rebuttal? What was her name? That Senator Katie Britz or whatever.
I didn't watch either. I couldn't help it.
It was probably, I think she talked for a few minutes, and everything that she complained about the next day, which was Friday, they voted on that minibus, and she literally voted for everything that she just complained about on the State of the Union rebuttal. I'm like, because it was all, the Department of Justice funding and all that, and some of it was for transportation and all. And I'm like, you just complained about all these things, and that Biden's destroying the country, which he is, but we're doing it too. And then you go around and just that's why I'm like, we got to do the right thing. But a lot of people, again, not being rude, they're just not informed, right? And they don't want this stuff down their throat. But I'm like, I'm going to be the guy who's like, hey, this is what's going on. You need to be informed. You need to understand what's happening so you can do something. You can be the squeaky wheel that gets the grease, because one guy, again, is not going to go to Washington, D.C. to fix our problem. We've been living that for 25, 30 years, okay? That strategy is gone. It is not going to work. It has to go back to the people. Let me read this Jefferson quote to you. He says, if I can remember, an enlightened citizenry is indispensable for the functioning of a republic. And then he says, he says, self-government is not possible unless the people are sufficiently educated in such matters where they can execute oversight. And boom, he explains everything right there in that little short 2 sentences, how to make sure the republic's going to function. Because we're the ones that are supposed to be executing oversight. We're just not doing it.
It's right. It's right.
Know what, Mike, earlier when you were talking about people not voting, and I think you're right. It's 100%. I mean, people, you have to take time to be up on issues and candidates. And, a lot of us who spend a lot of time in politics, we know the players and what's going on and how to differentiate them. And it's difficult for the average person, and they do rely on the mailers. So
yeah,
that's the hard.
And they don't know. People don't know. I mean, this sounds bad, but people don't even look into, especially the elderly folks. Nothing against them, but they There's a guy that I'm running against that was a congressman. I'm going to mention his name. Everybody knows who probably I'm talking about. And I'm like, he's got a crappy, he followed the Constitution 74% of the time. One of the other ones, the people in the state, they're in the 50 percentiles. There's and following the Constitution. And so people are like, they see these people, they're polite, they're nice. They, maybe they catch them on, Wayne TV, or they hear them on Whoa or something up this way. Right. And they're like, oh, they're so nice. And it's like, you got to get into the record, and their records, most of them are crap. They don't follow the Constitution. They're big spenders. They say they care about you, or they're one of us. And then, a year later, they don't sound anything like us.
One of them.
Yeah. And it's like, we got to get away from that.
I have a quick question. Mike, are you running against Andy Zay?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh,
yep.
I thought he was in the 6th.
Nope.
That's
Speedy.
Okay, yeah, that's another guy. Zap. What's that guy's name? It's a Z name. So that's unfortunate. If you have a last name that starts with Z, you're always going to be last on the ballot.
But he's also already elected state rep, or state senator. So
yeah, and if he doesn't win, he gets to fall right back where he's at now. He doesn't lose his senatorial job. Yeah, so he took Banks's job, right, when Banks was in the Senate for the state and ran for Congress, and now he's running. I mean, it's just nothing against him. It's like, what is this musical? I mean, okay, it's just another progression in your career.
So is it musical chairs, Or is it similar to working at an establishment where you're the apprentice and then you're the technician and then you're the master?
Yeah, I don't, for politics, I don't think so. Again, I go back to, I'm voting for the person who is the best for the job. And
Yeah, you're 100% right, but I will tell you the skills that it takes to get elected and the skills that you have to govern are very different. And the skills to govern, those are the things I'm thinking that you learn when you're doing it. And if you don't have some of that experience, I would imagine it can be difficult. But anyone can run for office. I mean, knock on doors, be an extrovert, raise money, have fun, go to events. Anyone can run for office. And I think we have a lot of people in the state of Indiana who are like professional candidates. But, where are people supposed to learn those skills to govern and be effective?
Well, you have to learn there. And like here, right? I've been running since February of last year, March, I think, somewhere into February. And I've been tearing up, getting into the weeds of things, trying to understand the weeds of government and how it works, that way I can go in there and kind of hit the ground running essentially. Cause I mean, again, I know I'm not going to have a bunch of clout when I get in there, they're going to, we're just minions, when we get in there, they don't even respect you. I don't think, but, I don't know. I'm driven. I've learned a lot in this time frame, not just, being candidate Mike Felker, but I'm learning like how government functions, like this, why we're constantly suspending the rules. We're breaking our own rules in the Republican Party. Like people just don't know, we don't, we have the, all these bills that were, back in December, kind of go backwards here, the NDAA and the FISA, how did we get two bills jammed into one when we said we weren't going to do that, when we took over the 118th Congress back in, a year ago? Well, I can tell you how it happened. We suspended our own rule. And then, so it didn't go through the rules committee. And then, we had the FISA, which is, the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act for people who don't know what the heck that is. But then we had Jim Jordan and all them, and the Judiciary Committee ended up going through a rule stating that they have to get a warrant if they want to, spy on an American citizen. They put that verbiage and that passed through committee. And then, unfortunately, Johnson, our speaker, said, "Hey, look, I already got these two bills together, and this is what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and vote on it without that verbiage in there and jam it through. And you've got to give money to our, the NDAA, which is a 5.6% raise, I think is what they gave the military for their raise. And so you got to vote for FISA because you got to vote for the NDAA because you got to give the troops a raise. And that's what's important. And who cares if the Americans lose their 14th Amendment right? And anyways, I'm kind of going all over the place here, but understanding how all that kind of connects, right? How did this happen? How is this occurring? And people don't understand the ins and outs. All they know is, hey, there was an up or down vote and we voted to spend our children's money again.
Yeah, that seems to be the case. All right. Well, Mike, we're getting long on the tooth here. Anybody got any other questions? You've been a good guest, and we thank you for coming on. And that's folks like our show because you get on and you get to talk about stuff. I mean, and it's civil, and I do want to thank the chat there because we, a couple weeks ago, Ed, we had some pretty interesting comments going on in the chat that might have led to World War III. And but now everybody seems to be calmed down and taking a chill pill a little bit. So we're going to go, Mike. We go to the conspiracy theory right now, and you can be a brave soul. You're running for office. You don't have to do in this. And I'll give you an example. Last week, somebody used the conspiracy theory against John Rust and said, "Oh, look how low he stooped." And they put our pictures up there, and I had my tinfoil hat on. I'm like, wow, I didn't know, where that. But it was a pro Jim Banks group. I looked them up, and it was pro Jim Banks. They were, they were out there just doing everything they could to put this guy in the dirt. I thought they probably were going to go by. The final straw was when they went by and egged his house. When you're a kid, you throw the eggs at some. Never mind, they didn't do that. I just thought that would be funny. if they could find his house in Seymour, wherever he lives. But so we have this conspiracy theory thing that we have going here. So you're welcome to stay on. You don't have to have a tinfoil hat. It's but we have it. And so are you in or out?
Yeah, I'll stick around. Yeah.
You probably
I got thick skin if somebody wants to cry,
Okay, well,
Again, the people who are voting for me are just like y'all. Okay.
Okay. Well, good.
You're going to have to do something and go viral.
Yeah, you're going to have to. I don't know. Dress up in a chicken suit and stand down on Stadium Drive in Fort Wayne or something.
Freaking at Walmart. You're going to have to do something.
Yeah. It is so tough it's just such a cluttered environment now and all that.
I know.
Geography with a cluttered. Yeah, it's large.
Yeah, that.
I'm not going away. We'll just say that I got plans if this doesn't fall through. Yeah.
All right, we like somebody who's driven and is not going to give up. So here we go. Playing the intro. So if you got a tinfoil hat, get it. If you don't, and Libby, you're definitely off the hook because you got such short notice and you'll probably have a tinfoil hat. But anyway, here's your chance.
Hey, y'all, it's time for the conspiracy theory, so you better get your tinfoil hat out and let's see what's going on this week.
All right. Oh, he disappeared. He's probably going for some foil.
Yeah. Well, I'll just use. How about this? Yeah, there we go.
Oh, that's better. That'll stop the rays.
It'll block the Chinese.
Yeah, the Chinese spy balloons flying over your house right now. so
Ed,
and we're going to start with Ed tonight because you've had 3-4 months to think of a good conspiracy theory. So please don't tell me you don't have anything.
So I do, but I'm holding out on you because I'm going to Vegas next week for my birthday. And you know that I'm flying Spirit Airlines.
Really? Are you really flying Spirit Airlines?
I am flying Spirit Airlines. And when you guys reached out and were like, hey, you guys want to be on the show or you want to be on the show? I was thinking I will, but I have to watch my tongue because, I'm flying Spirit next week. And, I almost like Lucy's got those things. I can't do a conspiracy theory without throwing Spirit Airlines in there. But I'll make you this promise. When I get back, I'll totally share one with you.
Okay, that's good. Well, I'll probably my conspiracy will probably get you canceled, so don't worry about it. So you should. So Libby, you're our other guest panelist. What kind of conspiracy might you have?
Oh, I've just been interested. When the Queen died, the Queen of England died, they said that she's been dead for months, and now they're going with Kate Middleton. Can these people not have any privacy at all?
Oh, yeah. I saw there was some of the royalties. So are you a royal follower? I mean,
no, my mom named me Elizabeth because she wanted me to marry Harry, but Prince Harry. But no, I'm not a big follower.
Oh, that's so cute. That's something else. So Tiffany, speaking of marrying and dating and all that, what do you got on your mind?
It's a catch and release program.
So where are we in the catch portion of the program or the release portion?
We are releasing.
Releasing. It's like
we're giving them the last round of shots and putting that little tracker in the ass.
And we're also watching the eagles out at Big Bear Lake if they're going to hatch their eggs again. And so my wife watches the eagles on the eagle nest. I don't know if anyone else watches that, but she watches that eagle sitting on the nest and they're out there. And last year they didn't hatch. It was pretty depressing, but they got 3 eggs this year and it looks like one's already been bad. And then we're going to the second one. And I just hope one of them hatches just for the psyche of these folks that are watching it because it's, it's nature. Nature doesn't work out all the time. That's how it is. So, Mike, what do you have as far as conspiracy? Are you 1, 2, 3, 12? How many conspiracies you got?
They want the band.
Yeah, I don't have any. But I did hear that I guess we're flying in 30,000 a month now across the border. Have you guys heard that? That was lovely.
Oh yeah, that's I've heard that situation. So I think that when the seams bust of America, then we'll know that was. But I'm watching this thing on Netflix.
The seams are going to burst.
I know. I did. Yeah. That's what I just said. I mean, it's just a matter.
You're right, and it's like nobody cares. Like they can't figure out how to seal the border. I mean,
Yeah.
there are so many veterans that work in the that work in the government. I mean, like I'd take the Fishers Police Department down there. They'd figure it out. I mean, it's like, how can you not understand how to secure a border or a perimeter? It is lost on me.
It's called the power of spending. Sorry.
Yeah, well, they need to take a book out of Canada, because I don't know if you ever tried to sneak a walleye across this Canadian border. I mean, that's like, or a bottle of vodka. Oh, they'll strip search you in a second. So we need to just switch the people, and then we
A
got
slice of cake out of the kitchen with your mom listening, and you have to raise the cloche, and it makes that noise. Like, yeah.
yeah, something. I mean, it's like we got the Swiss. The Swiss are managing our border, like the Swiss cheese border. That's what we have going on there. There's lots of holes. So, all right. Well, Ed, here, this is just for you, the Spirit Airlines. Now, we're doing this show called Stock Market Neophytes. So last week was the first show, and we got this $1,000 challenge. It's between me and Gary. Now, Gary hadn't started his yet, but I started mine. So I thought, you know what? Just for Ed, I'm going to take my $1,000 and I'm going to buy this Spirit Airlines stock. And man, it just starts tanking and tanking. So I read up on it. Oh, they might be going bankrupt. Well, I'm blaming you, Ed, because if anybody really wanted to read the fine print on this, because JetBlue had a deal with them to buy them out and merge. And then that evil Congress said they can't do it, or somebody says you can't do it without a note from your mother or whatever. But here's your conspiracy. It was actually Ed Liptrap sent a note in and said, cut the thing off. We're not merging with the JetBlue. They crashed in the swamp those years ago. We're still mad about it. We can't be and it just ended it. So you tanked my stock and you tanked their deal. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
So Ed, pay to check a bag, or are you just going to wear all your clothes?
I am going to look like a snowman.
You get, so that'll be fun. The yellow plane. I mean, they may not be solvent by the time you go next week.
Don't say that.
I'm just saying.
You're supposed to carry a pillow too, with like a bunch of clothes in it.
Hey, if I'm going to be stuck somewhere, Vegas isn't a bad place to be stuck, though. So
many a person's been stuck in Vegas.
Yeah.
What happens in
Forget
Vegas?
your name, you'll come back with dreadlocks.
There we go.
There's nothing wrong with that. That's all right. Well,
hey, by the way, I just wanted to say congrats to Libby. I was kind of scared there when she asked, if she could have permission, because Lucy would never ask for permission to ask a question, but you did a phenomenal job.
Thank you.
Definitely touched on all the points. So.
And she went right to the question. We didn't have a dissertation, and then I had to ask her.
I gave a dissertation.
That's what we love about Lucy. She's.
Well, we didn't ask Libby anything about her campaign.
Oh, it's all about Mike today. I don't have to run in a primary, because I'm a libertarian. So
yeah, but she's already a winner.
Yeah,
I am a winner. Yeah, I won in the convention. That's all that matters.
Yay!
Yeah. She won the conventional way. That's how we should do the Republican and the Democrat. Heck with this primary stuff. It's like, it's wasting my time. Do it like the Libertarians.
Or you should just join the Libertarian Party and not have to deal with any of that primary crap anyway.
I'm about ready to join no parties. The only party I'm going to have is on Friday night. We're going to have a party and people come over and bring stuff. And we eat it and we talk and play some games. That sounds like a heck of a good party to me. So on that note, we'll have to bid you farewell. Next week, hey, real quick, Mike, have you ever heard of Dion's Daily Dose? It's another podcast. I think he's up in northern Indiana. Have you ever heard of that show?
No. Yeah, send him my way, would you?
Okay, well, he's going to be our guest on the 19th, and we're actually doing I'm going to be on his show. He's going to be on my show, sort of thing, like we did with the show up there. Yeah. And so with the Christopher Bilbrey show. And then also, I'm going to be on Mark Lee's show on the 20th. And he's some other podcaster in some other state. So he says it's interesting to see somebody else doing politics and not getting thrown up there. Will you come on my show as a guest? So I'll give you some more details on that. Yeah, it's going to be it's going to be by two cans with the string. We'll put them up like all that. So it'll be awesome. So anyway. Tune in to after this show, well, in 15 minutes, we're going to have the Say It Out Loud Cassie show. It's going on Chateau de Mars Hill and some other stuff there. And I think you should tune in to it because it talks about her dad passed away last week, and it's a good conversation about grieving and losing a loved one. So you can watch that. It's
She's a
recorded.
healthcare professional. I mean, she's a mental health care professional. So
Yeah, so it's going to be good information, right? And all that. We talk about addiction because her father passed away from alcoholism, and so it's a very personal talk with her. And then Friday will be our maiden voyage of the stock market neophytes. We'll see if we can't get sued. That's what everybody says. We're going to get sued. It's like that little kid on Christmas Story. You're going to shoot your eye out. So we've got our instructions of what we can talk about, what we can't talk about, but I'm sure it'll be entertaining. So thanks for coming on tonight. Thanks, Ed. Thanks, Libby. Tiffany, as always, thank you. And Mike, good luck with your campaign up there. You're swimming in a big pond with a bunch of sharks. So let me see if I can cue something up here. Oh, there it is. We're actually, Libby, you're mentioned in the credits too. So we try to roll out the red carpet for you. So, hey, thanks a lot, guys. We'll see you again.
I'm sorry I broke your heart. I don't know what I did. Inbox me.
Sorry.
The fan club.
Okay. Well, yeah, Tiffany, you got a way of getting people because, you had a couple comments on the shows and they've contacted you afterwards apologizing. So I think that's all good. That's all good. So what do we do here? That's what we do. It's listen to everybody and we try to respect everything they say. So there you go. We'll see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.
I'm going to call you Bigfoot. I'm coming. I'm going to call you.